I hope you can see it with your eyes. Oh, Lord, save us all. Okay. So first, we're going to do 8.1. We're going to do 2 sections today. 8.1. The title is Adding and Subtracting. Polynomials. Someone may want to shut the door because Skylar's across the hall. Okay, so adding and subtracting polynomials. We have to learn about all these words and what polynomial means. So a polynomial is a general name, first of all, okay? We're going to learn all different types of polynomials. So it's like saying something's an animal, okay? So a polynomial, whoop, my sound is on. Hey, guess what? He heard it. Polynomial is the sum of terms in one expression called a monomial. So there's like a definition within a definition. Don't worry, I will give it to you. Oh, I put on. Oh my gosh, I know. We'd actually be able to focus probably. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what polynomials cannot have them. It's like linear equations when we learned what they can and cannot have in them. It's just a type of equation. Okay, so a polynomial cannot have. Here's the list of things. We learned this last section. We are not allowed to have negative exponents. We are not allowed to have variables in the denominator, which if you paid attention at all last chapter, those actually mean the same thing. A negative exponent and a variable in the denominator are exactly the same. Okay? Variables as powers. And the last thing we're not allowed to have is roots of variables. So I just put the square root of x. Technically, you have square root of 2 because that's a number, though you won't see it. You cannot have root of variables. So variables cannot be in any weird places or have any weird exponents. Basically what that means. Okay, part of your homework will be them asking you, is this actually a polynomial? Okay, different types of polynomials. First kind is called a monomial. Meal, M-I-A-L. It's pronounced meal like a thing you eat, but it's not spelled that way. Mono, like mono, e-mono, means one. So it's one term. For example, if I said 3xy, that is a monomial. Because it's one term, there's no addition or subtraction in it. Next is called a binomial. If I say binomial, how many terms do you think that is? 2. I think of bicycles. 2 terms. A binomial, separate terms are separated by addition or subtraction. So if I wrote x plus 5, that is a binomial because it's 2 separate things separated from addition or subtraction. Granted, they could have lots of variables on there all together. I just didn't. Can anyone guess what the third word's going to be? Trinomial. No. You're not going in order, Ty. Trinomial for 3. Right? So 3xy plus 6x minus x to the 7th. That is a trinomial because it's got 3 separate terms in it. It doesn't matter what's in it. Okay? Anything after 3 terms, we just call them polynomials. They must have gave up and stopped calling them names, so they're just called polynomials. So if it has 4 terms or 5 terms or 16 terms, it's just called a polynomial. Okay? Now, first thing you're going to have to, I forgot. The word degree. I forgot a definition. Got too excited. A degree of a monomial, because they're 2 different things. So the degree of a monomial is the sum of the exponents of the variables. So like in our monomial expression, it says x to the first power, y to the first power. Think of degree, like if I say it's 60 degrees outside, you know how like the degree sign is at the top left? Aren't power spots in the same spot? That's how you can remember. What? Did I say left? I mean, I'm just all over the place today. Oh, yeah. See, the bad part is everybody else knew what I meant. There's a difference, Ty. Okay. So x to the first, y to the first. So that means this equation right here, its degree, I always just abbreviate with d. It would be 2 because I would add those exponents together because it's a monomial. Okay. Now the degree of a polynomial is a little different. A polynomial, it is the greatest degree of any term. Individually. So remember, a term is the same thing as a monomial. So if you look at trinomial, because that one's the best one. This 3xy, this is one term. Its degree, we just did it, right? That its degree is 2. This 6x, that's another term. What's the only degree it has? 1. But this x right here is my third term. What's its degree? Out of all those numbers, which one's the biggest? So the degree of that whole polynomial would be 7, because you just take whatever the biggest number is, whatever the biggest of all the groups. You don't add them together, just like which one is the bigger one. So first part of this is you have to do all of this. You're going to say, is it a polynomial, yes or no? If it's no, you say why. Then you are going to name it and state the degree. So 4x y to the third. Yes or no, is this a polynomial? You just check and see, does it have any of the stuff it's not allowed to have? Any of the weird exponent things it's not allowed to have? Or any of the weird variable things it's not allowed to have? So is it yes or no? Is it a polynomial? Yes. So since it's yes, next we say, okay, what kind of polynomial is it? It is a monomial. And then what is its degree? It is 4 because x is to the first. So you add those two numbers together, the degree is 4. Okay? This is part of it. Okay, let's try another one just in case. Okay, how about 7a to the third plus 9ab minus 6a to the negative second? Please remember that I'm recording this lesson. Thank you. Jimmy, is it a polynomial? No, why not? So whenever it's wrong, circle the thing that's wrong, because sometimes on Alex, they like to be difficult, and if something's no, they want you to click on it. So if you circle it, you're just getting used to pointing out the thing that's wrong. Okay? If it is no, you can't do the rest of the steps. If it's not a polynomial, you literally can't say what type it is because it's not one, and you can't say what degree it is. Okay? Next thing is, you're going to hate it by the words, but you're going to like it in a second. Standard form. It's not hard. No, it's not. This is standard form of a polynomial. It's not a type of equation. She doesn't listen. Standard form with polynomials is how you write your answer. What it is you put your terms in order, left to right, just in case. Some of you, I know, can't tell the difference. Greatest to least degree. So if I give you this equation, 3x squared plus 4x to the fifth minus 7x. It will always only have one variable in them. You cannot put things with multiple variables right now. Ask me again junior year. I'll change my mind. You cannot put things that have multiple variables in order in standard form. So you should be able to use your eyeballs really quickly and tell me what's the biggest exponent you see. Exponent. The 4x to the fifth. So everything that's connected to that exponent goes first. So 4x to the fifth. Now that I use that, what's the next biggest exponent? What should I put in front of it? A plus sign. Then what's less? Minus 7x. That is standard form, greatest to least exponents. From here on in eternity, you always put things in that order. There's only one type of graph in there. It's not all graphing, it's just one type of graph. But yes, from here on out and later on, when you get to Algebra 2, you have to put everything in standard form. That's just how you type in your answers correctly. Okay? And you'll get used to it, and you will want it that way either because it helps you. Okay? Last thing is, do you remember what the title was of this section? What's the only thing we haven't done yet? Adding or subtracting polynomials. We haven't done any math yet, really, have we? We've just been looking at some numbers. Oh my gosh, Ty, shut your mouth. We know. We can all have eyeballs. We can see. So now the title's going to say simplify. So it's not going to say add and subtract these. It's just going to say simplify. It's going to give you two polynomials, and it's going to separate it using parentheses. So first set of parentheses. I'll give you an easy one to start. 2x squared plus 5x minus 7. Close your parentheses. Addition sign. Next set of parentheses. 3 subtract 4x squared plus 6x. Close your parentheses. It's saying I have this polynomial and I want to add it to this polynomial. When you add things together, does the order matter? No, it does not. So in this case, only addition. Subtraction is a completely different story. In this case, we do not need our parentheses. So I'm going to rewrite everything. I'm just going to bring it down because you're going to want to pay attention because it's going to change next section. I'm just going to bring everything down so that it is without parentheses, but it has only its assigned sign attached to its term. So if it says plus and negative, just put minus, please. Thank you. Okay, now, you should be able to do this. What's the greatest degree in this entire equation? 2. Then start there. You want to combine your like terms, and you want your answer to be in standard form, so why not start at the biggest? This has a squared on it. Anything else have a squared on it? The negative 4 squared. So if I combine those numbers, when I add numbers, you're just identifying with the variables. What is 2 minus 4? So I have negative 2. Then what do I put after that negative 2? X squared, because the x's do not change. What's now the greatest power in the whole equation? X to the first. I'm going to use a different symbol to identify it. When I circled these, how many x's do I have? 11. So I'm right, plus 11x. Last, I have whole numbers. They have no x's, so they go together. What's that going to be when I add them together? So subtract 4. If you do it in greatest least form, look, it's in standard form and it's simplified. I'm done. Pretty easy. That's not hard at all. Let's try a subtraction one. Oh, yes, it will. Oh my goodness. Change the variable to 7p plus 4p to the third. Subtract 8. Close your parentheses. Subtraction sign. Next set of parentheses. 3p squared plus 2, subtract 9p, close my parentheses. How does this change? Yeah. Yes, but people mess this up with double negatives. So instead of doing that, what could you do with this negative sign, which is really a negative 1 right there? Well, I think you had the right answer, then you stopped. Yep. So you see how nothing's in front of this parentheses right here? It's all positive. So just this set is good. We can bring everything here down. But the second set has a negative 1 in front of it. Since it has a negative 1 in front of it, that means everything in the parentheses behind it is changed. So I'm going to take this negative 1 and distribute it to everything behind it, which really means all the signs are now the opposite. So now it's minus 3p squared, subtract 2, plus 9p. Doesn't change it much, but it will change your answer completely. Then in this one, Cassidy, what is my greatest degree? No. This is all one problem. Nope, the whole thing. All one problem. 3. Is there anything else that has a 3 other than that guy? Since he's alone, what do? Just bring him down. Next, AJ, what's now the greatest degree? 2. Does he have any friends? No. What are we going to do? Bring him down. Ty, what's the next degree? That's not a degree, but sure. Anybody else go with him? 7p. Dana, what do I get when I add them together? Huh? It says 9p's and 7p. They're both positive, so you add them. 16p. No, because you do exactly what they say. Last, I got a whole number and a whole number. -8, -2. What do I get? -10. You don't subtract afterwards. You do exactly what it says. Once you've distributed that negative, you do not care what it was. You only care what you see, unless you messed it up. Other than our inability to read, Ty. Was this pretty easy? Yes? That is the first section. Yep. I used 2 boards in a little bit, so. That was 8.1, yes. Today, 8.2. We're only doing 2. In chapter 8? I think there's 8. I don't know, because we're going to do 2 today and 2 tomorrow. Sure, if you want to take it tomorrow after learn 2 new sections, and then, so then, okay, 8.2, 3 and 4 are really nice together. So the regular kids even did 8.3 and 8.4 together. They're pretty easy. I skipped chapter 7 with them. Yeah. They're doing it next, yes. Okay, multiplying. Nope. We don't divide polynomials. A polynomial by a monomial. Which is a fancy word for distributing with a lot of variables. Okay, here's the only really important thing you have to know. There's only one note. The last one had a lot of vocabulary. This has one important note in it. Thanks, Braden. You ready? When you multiply numbers, you will add like exponents. That's it. So when numbers are being multiplied, you add exponents. You can only add x's with x's and y's with y's and z's with z's and a's and b's with b's, right? They have to be the same variable. No, because what we just did is we added the numbers and we did nothing to the variables. We are changing the variables now. And some of these problems will have 4 variables in them. It gets confusing if you do not pay attention. That means shut your mouth. Ty, take your mouth, take your 2 lips, meet them, let them stay. So we'll start off easy. Number 1. Negative 3x squared. We'll start easy with one variable. Parentheses. 7x squared minus x plus 4. Close your parentheses. If it helps you, put a 1 in front of that x so you know that there's a number there. If it helps. Okay, just do it. It'll help you later. Okay. Now, distributing. First thing at a time. You're taking all of this. If it helps you, underline it. First group times first group. Number times number. Michelle, what is negative 3 times 7? Negative 21. I have 2 x's here and 2 x's here. What's the total amount of x's I have? Count them. 2 there and 2 there. Add them together. Huh? Yeah, I'm talking to you. 2 and 2. Since there's no more variables after them, I'm done. We move on to the next group. Negative 3 times negative 1, Braden, plus 3. I have 2 x's here and 1 x there. Still Braden. X to the 3rd power. Last one. Take the front, multiply by the back. Negative 3 and 4, Isaiah. Negative 12. I have 2 x's here and none here. How many do I have total? 2. Chloe, is this in standard form order? See? It was already nice to us because the inside was in standard form order. If it's not, you have to put it in standard form order. Not so hard, other than Michelle struggling a little bit. Because we weren't even done with one step yet. Okay. I'm going to keep the variables as 1. I'm just going to add a little extra, okay? 2p parentheses. Negative 4p squared added to 5p. Close your parentheses. Subtract 5 parentheses. 2p squared plus 20. Close your parentheses. So now this time, how many times you're going to have to distribute in 2 separate groups. See if you can do it. I gave you low variables and low-ish numbers. Try it out. See if your answer is the same as mine when you're done. I boxed it. I boxed the answer on my end. I'm just waiting. Letting you, some of you work. I know some of you are done, some of you are still working. Did you get 2 terms in your answer? Okay. Did we get the same answer? Okay. You're ready for multiple variables. Negative 5 times 20. 5 20s is 100. Did you write 2 by accident? Ah, see that does. It does. Ooh. Okay. He's actually keeping his mouth shut for a little bit. It's a miracle. Okay, let's try multiple variables. You ready? Lila, pick 2 variables. Any variables you want to use? Oh, Cassidy, that's why I didn't pick you. No, T is the worst one. Did you say X? Oh, did she say F? Okay. Okay. J to the 3rd X. Well, they're in alphabetical order. They have to be in alphabetical order. Okay. You ready? Making this up. Okay. -2 J squared X squared plus 3 X to the 3rd minus 5J. Do one variable at a time. 8J X. Do the number, then the variable, and the next variable. No, when there's multiple variables, you just kind of leave her where she is. When we get to algebra 2, it'll be a different story. But for now, you just kind of leave her. Did you get the same answer? I'm not a senor last time I checked. Thank you. Did I forget a word? I did forget a word. Okay, you know what? I did forget something in 8.1, but it's okay. No, we'll do it right now. No, it does. It's a definition. It's called a leading coefficient. The hair tickling me somewhere. A leading coefficient is when in standard form, so once you're sure it's in standard form, the leading coefficient, or it is, the number in front. It is that simple. So the degree is the exponent, right? You put things in order by degree. The leading coefficient is literally the whole number. So these have 2 variables, so you can't say anything about these types of equations. But the equation we just did, right? The -8p to the 3rd minus 100. The degree is what? My leading coefficient is then what? -8. It's whatever a whole number, it's usually a whole number, is attached to whatever your degree is. It's a number that's in front. That's all. Because they will ask you, once it's in standard form, to state the leading coefficient. And I just completely slipped my mind. He's throwing stuff in there. Okay. Ooh. I think it is. Okay, try this one, and then we're going to do an equation one. 15t, parentheses. I know. 10y, oh, he wrote to you. 3, y to the third, t to the fifth, plus 5y squared t, close your parentheses, minus 2y, parentheses, yt squared, plus 4y squared. There she is. Hey Ty, would you like a mint? He just bowed at me. I feel like you've been itching to do something. Might as well give you something to do. We get anywhere yet? Remember, you cannot add them unless their variables are exactly the same. So you can't add things together unless they both have like y squared, t squared, or y to the third. I just left him as yt, but yes. Oh. Final answer? I left him as yt, so I'm sorry. Did we get the same answer? Did we all check our answers? Lila, you fixing yours? I'll get you. Okay, one last thing. The good thing is there's way less variables. Okay? Yep. That's why I do a little curve at the end. Hey, Braden. I just said it. You don't have to. T, that's why people have a hard time with T, yeah, because people confuse them with their addition signs. Okay. The instruction says to solve the polynomials equations. You haven't actually seen an equation yet because there hasn't been any equal signs. It doesn't really change anything. It just means there's variables everywhere. The good thing is magical things happen. So, number 1. 2a parentheses, 5a minus 2, close your parentheses, plus 3a parentheses. I hope I have enough room for this. 2a plus 6, close your parentheses, plus 8 equals, I'm not going to have enough room, a parentheses, 4a plus 1, close your parentheses, plus 2a parentheses, 6a minus 4, close your parentheses, plus 50. That's it. Look, I barely fit it on the board. It is. All of them are long, but they're crazy. The answer is a whole number. You just slowly distribute. Combine like terms on both sides so you only have squareds, a's, and whole numbers on each side separately. Then move all your squareds to one side. See what magic happens. Probably make sure your homework's right because I have a good habit of making it wrong. Okay, let's go. I remember that spot. Okay. 8.1. 30. 32. Okay. Standard form. Didn't cover it. 34. to 36. Gonna have to change that. See, that's why I've been doing. What is it? 1, 2, 4, 5, 3, 4. So 1, 2. Let's see if this one's right. 24. Oh yeah, that one's right. I changed the first homework. Which means I have to change it all right.